Hey, what's going on? Good evening. Hey, welcome to another Army Reenlistment live stream. It's me, Master Sergeant Tim Donahue, here again. Tonight we got a very good live stream. We got a very couple of good special guests. We've been back for a minute. Got a good topic. Hope y'all having a good new year with a fiscal new year. Uh, got some good stuff going on. Lots of things going on. Shout out to Lexi. Miss y'all, right? Got a lot of things going on. We're gonna talk about some really good topics. If y'all didn't know, Red Sox almost there. We almost there. Career counselors, if you in 18th Airborne Corps, they ain't around. They in Virginia Beach right now. It's good stuff, man. Really happy for y'all. Been busy as hell. Lots of stuff going on, personal life, right? But we'll talk about that later. But you got some really good people on the live stream. The Army Reenlistment team, they've been working hard. Me, I ain't not so much. I ain't been working hard. But we have some really good guests, hardest working people in the Army, really. And we got my replacement, the guy that came back to me at the schoolhouse, proponent, senior career management NCO. He's way better than me, right? But topics, right? So a couple things before we even get to that. We have seen some great things. A lot of y'all are doing some great things out there. We get a lot of good feedback on our posts. Couple of things. Colin Powell died yesterday, RIP, right? But he had some really, really great tactics. I was in 132 at Fort Drum, New York, right? Chosen. And he was a living legend there. He had his 13 tenets that he lived by. I would tell you, if you ever get a chance to read them. Now, I read them and I live by them to a certain extent. Only time I don't live by them is when I'm playing Madden. Because when I'm playing Madden, it's only one tenet you live by, and it's the win. But speaking of that, I was talking to a good friend of mine. His name is Eric Conway, right? You're going to see him in a second because he's the only dork that wears this like really long, live, like neon blue cord. But he was like, hey, Tim, he got this credentials. And I was like, credentials? And then I couldn't really understand him because he got this like weird, like Chicago, he got this weird Chicago accent. But it's like not like a Bill Murray Chicago accent. It's like a Chief Keef Chicago accent. But you'll see in a second, right? And I was like, yeah, credentials. Because, I got a TBI, so I don't really be paying attention. So he was like, yeah, credentials. And I was like, oh, yeah, credentials. We used to work on those things. And then I was like, yeah. And then I was like, yeah. But we got this thing, right? So I'm going to bring them on. But credentials are going to be the new wave. That's what CA is. And without further ado, let's bring on our great guest, all right? And let's talk about these. So we got the incomparable Master Sergeant Eric Conway. He got all this USAREC stuff in the background. So yeah, that's that right there tell you that he do one thing for a living. He lied, right?
Professional liar.
Yeah, he's a Bears fan too. So he lies and cries. That's all. He do two things for a living. Hey, Eric, what's going on?
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, Eric, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You've been on here one time before, so go ahead and tell everybody.
I have, and thank you for having me back. I really, really enjoyed it last time, so I really wanted to come back. So originally from Chicago. I've been in this command since 2005. Currently working at the recruiting college, and our goal here tonight is to help educate you on some of the great programs that we have to help you with career development. Whether you stay in a uniform or if you're someone that's potentially getting out of uniform, how this is going to help you as far as impacting your resume potentially. So hopefully we have a great conversation tonight.
Most definitely. And then like I said, we got the greatness right there. Master Woody Woodside. Woody is really his first name. Is really his first name. And he took over for me. Like you could only go up. Like when you start at the bottom, you can only go up. Hey, Woody, what's going on, man? Yeah, you can only go up. Like you breathe and your lungs go up and you automatically above me, man. Hey, what's up, man?
You said the greatest. I thought you were ready to introduce Miss Sweeney. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going last. No, I want to clear up some misconceptions, though. Sergeant Donahue said I'm like way better than him. I'm like only a little bit better than him. I mean, I'm pretty far down there too. But no, so yeah, I'm the senior career manager for 79 Sierra, also known as the proponent. You know, it's commonly known as the proponent. And originally from Philly, Eagles fan. Even though we're not doing that great right now, Sixers fan. Even though Ben Simmons is going, I don't know what's going on with that. We're having a lot of problems in Philly sports right now, but that's okay. But not to piggyback off what Master Conway said, but we kind of do the same thing, just for the different LOSs, and we work in the same office. I throw things at him every once in a while just to make sure he's awake, and yeah.
And then saving the best for last.
There you go.
Yeah. Miss Sweeney. I will tell you, right, when they said they was bringing Miss Sweeney on, I was like, okay, great, because I got to go see Miss Sweeney's office one time, and I was like, can I stay here? Because we was in HRC, and I was like, damn, like she had all these extra desks, right? And when we worked in proponent office, it was me, Eric, and then Ruben, right? And Mr. Garcia, who used to be our branch manager at 79 Sierras. And all Ruben ever wants to do is go to lunch. Yo, it'd be like 9:30 in the morning, and Ruben's like, all right, guys, Christie's. And I'm like, what? It's 9:30, Ruben? He's like, lunch. And I'm like, nah, man, like, and I'm like, yo, I can't do nothing. Ruben's always like bothering me, like snacks, lunch. And that's how Miss Sweeney had like this whole she had this like whole spot to herself. I was like, Miss Sweeney, can I stay here, please?
Yeah.
And she was like, no. But Miss Sweeney, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. And so just talking about all that space, yeah, we got the boot out of HRC. Now we moved down the street to another building. So yeah, not in HRC anymore. We now fall under TRADOC. So we are part of Access Army University. And so my name is Sophia Sweeney. I am the Army's Credentialing Assistance Program Manager, as well as the Army Cool Program Manager. So credentialing opportunities online. Just a little bit about myself. I'm from California, so you know, don't ask me about sports. If it's not UFC, I don't care. Right? No, that's all that matters is UFC. But actually, I am a soldier for life. I'm a retired MP. Yes, MP. Love it. Yeah, don't hate on me. And I've been working as the program manager for CA and actually for Access Army University for several years now. This program took off in 2020, so we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for welcoming me here. Thanks.
No, we really appreciate it. Ruben, I see your comment. Yeah, you are right. Woody has stepped up and taken it to the next level. I know you're happy I'm not there no more. I'm glad I'm not there either, Ruben, because your sleep apnea used to keep me up at lunchtime. Now, let's talk about some things. So, right, you did bring up the CA program. Ms. Sweeney, why is the Army pushing credentials so hard? That's something that we've seen a big push for in the last, I say, really, really hard in the last 2 years.
Right. And so there's a couple of, my thoughts, my own knowledge is the Army credentialing program as a whole really wasn't like out there, and it wasn't, very well known until, Sergeant Major of the Army wanted to start his initiative. But it actually is it's actually a specific develop talent objective in the Army People Strategy, right? I want to say it's like line of effort 3, but it's all about, knowledge, skills, behaviors, all that other good stuff. I'm not going to go into too much detail other than, and I will talk specifically about the credentialing assistance program, because it is self-directed. It is a voluntary thing. And it was created as a retention program, not necessarily a transition program, but a retention program, right? So that's a big deal. And, not everybody wants to go to college. Not everybody, feels they want to go that route yet. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely advocate for degrees and so forth. But maybe sometimes you either want to start off with a credential, or maybe you're just enhancing your degrees by taking credentials, right? This all helps soldiers with their their skills, their skills, their abilities, helps with professional development. And again, this was all part of the whole retention program that the Sergeant Major of the Army wanted to bring up and really focus a lot on the lower enlisted who weren't able, who I guess not necessarily they weren't able to do something, but some credentials require certain things. But this gives the lower enlisted a great opportunity to earn credentials, as soon as they come in.
That makes sense, and because not everybody wants to go to college. It's some people just don't think school is for them. So there are lots of opportunities. What are how many off the top of your head? How many credentials do you manage in the program? Or a rough estimate that you could think of?
Right. So in the Army Credentialing Opportunity Online, which is cool, Army Cool, right?
That's a good name. That's a cool name.
It is so cool.
I've been working on my dad jokes, Woody.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, there's over 1,500 credentials in Army Cool right now. And again, that will go up and down depending on every month we update it with new credentials or remove credentials, because sometimes credentials will get retired or a credential agency no longer wants to participate. So our numbers go up and down.
Okay. So on average, how many of those credentials get taken advantage of? Do every one of those credentials get taken advantage of?
No, there's a lot that are out there. I mean, again, there's over 1,500, and some of our biggest winners, right? The ones that are like the top 5 type of credentials are our CompTIAs, right? All the CompTIA Security Plus, A Plus, Network, Project Management Professional. So PMP is huge, and then also like the Private Pilot is a huge one as well. So in CLA. The Certified Logistics Associate. I mean, it just varies, but right now the top ones that are being requested by soldiers are the CompTIAs and the PMPs and Pilot. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, so if you're just tuning in, we are talking to the 79 Sierra and the 79 Romeo proponents, Master Sergeant Conway and Master Sergeant Woody Woodside. I'll also have and Mrs. Sweeney, who runs is part of the team that runs the Cool website, which is a part of the credentialing assistance that helps soldiers get credentials. And I just put up on the screen the website that will help you if you're trying to find the cost and funding for the Army Credentialing Assistance Program. How much money goes into CA each year? Sergeant Conway, you know this better than anybody. You're pretty smart. You know all that stuff like Rain Man numbers.
Well, it depends. Each credential, carries a weight. Sometimes there's different fees. There may be a fee for just purchasing a credential only. Sometimes there's some training you can take associated with the credential, membership fees. So it really depends on the outline of the credential. For our particular credential that we highlight, which is the Shrm-Cp, to get training, membership, to pay for the books, the online system, and the tests, roughly is about $1,400 to $1,600. So to give you an idea of how much money per credential can be spent, it can be anywhere from $200 up to $1,600.
I mean, like, does a soldier get a certain amount of money each year, just like they do for TA?
Correct. The credentialing assistance funds and the tuition assistance funds are the same. So it's the same pot of money. So anybody that has remaining TA on their books, they could use that money towards credentialing assistance.
Okay. Is there like a set limit though? Like if I only want to say I'm not using my TA at all this year, I only want to use my CA, do I get a set amount?
So you still get, go ahead, Ms. Sweeney.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, yeah, there's a limit right now of $4,000 per fiscal year. So if a soldier chooses to use credentialing assistance or tuition assistance, they can use it, and they could use it combined or alone, doesn't matter, as long as they don't go over the $4,000 limit of, during that fiscal year.
Okay. Master on Woodside, where can soldiers go to find these credentials that they want to pursue?
So there is the Army Cool website that I believe has been thrown up there. The link has been thrown up there quite a few times at www.cool.osd.mil. You can find, you can look up for your specific MOS. You can find different, all the different credentials that are recommended by your proponent. You can go into Army Ignited and just look up different credentials that you might be interested in. That's where you would go to actually apply for these credentialing opportunities.
Okay. Hey, so on that website, like, is it like spicy peppers and stuff? Like, does that mean it's hot? Like, I've seen like the crazy stuff on it.
It's hot like fire.
Hot like fire, right?
Those are industry recommended credentials that are popular or within demand. So if you go to the cool site and you see something that has a spicy hot like fire symbol, that tells you that there's a credential that is in demand within that particular field. So that's something that you might want to research further and see if you want to pursue it, because it could be beneficial for you, on the outside.
Okay, so hot like fire. Okay, I got you. That because I seen that a couple times. Like, I'm not that smart, so I thought it was kind of I thought it was like that.
Yeah, they didn't point you. They didn't point you to Chili's.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. All right. So a couple of questions I seen on there. There's a couple of questions. We'll take a couple from the audience. We got one from Jerry first. He says, "Is it possible to take away credentials that are not being utilized to up the pilot license back to 4K?"
Yeah, so I know this is a really sore spot for a lot of people, but when we first started the program, we were provided only so much money for the credentialing assistance program. Well, then we found that the majority of, probably a third of the participants in the CA program were going towards these pilot credentials. And to get an actual license, it can take up to anywhere between, for somebody who's never done it and just started, it could take up to, or cost up to 16,000, 20-something thousand, but it was taking away from the total budget that we had for all soldiers. So we reduced it down to $1,000 for just specific pilot credentials that, again, could not be attained, within one fiscal year. So to make it to where it, the funds could spread across the Army, we did that. And no, it's not the best, thing, but no, we cannot just remove credentials from Army Cool so that it could be, money could go towards one specific credential. There's rules and everything. And again, Army Cool has been around since 2002, way before the entire credentialing program was even brought on board. So, that's why, there's so many credentials, and it'll stay like that because those are all, vetted and good to go. But yeah, I'm sorry, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, you might want to invest in the stock market, man, if you want to add some more money to your pilot license. Or gamble, or I'm not supposed to say that. Somebody got mad at me last time I said something about gambling.
Don't gamble. Don't do it.
It's legal in some states, but don't say it on here. Somebody told me I was unprofessional last time I said that. So don't gamble. Don't do that. Don't do it. All right. So there's another question that Michael Randalls wants to ask, and I think this one I'm going to ask it to you, Woody, because he's a future career counselor, and you probably approved this packet because I sure didn't. Right?
Possibly.
All right. Question. I will be attending the career counselor's course in April. Also, yes, start with a preposition. I will be graduating with my BBA and BHRM next year too. My main question is, will there be works or movement for counselors to obtain their Associate Professional Human Resource APHR or Professional Human Resource PHR during or shortly after the course? I know Shrm-Cp is a part of my master's glide path, but APHR and PHR are for those with less than 3 years in HR roles and 1 year with bachelor's in HR roles. Woody?
All right.
What do you say?
Yes. No. So when it comes to these credentialings, whatever, if you are actually qualified to take the credential on the civilian side, then you would be qualified with us. Whether we're talking about it being already loaded into Army Cool, I believe PHR, and I'm not sure if APHR, I believe APHR is as well, are already loaded into Army Cool. So you can use your credentialing assistance for those, as for it being an IDC for us at the Recruiting Retention College, to where we would use the funds from Army University for it. We haven't looked at those specific ones yet, but we are looking at adding some new credentials to that list, so it's not just Shrm-Cp for us, for our CMS.
And Woody, if I may, I did conduct this right before you came. I did conduct a comparative analysis between all the credentials that we have on our Cool website. And so APHR, PHR was one of those, and also in conjunction with Shrm. Based on our analysis, not saying you could not pursue APHR, but it was not closely aligned to all of the things that you do throughout your career within the course of a career counselor or recruiting NCO. Not saying that you couldn't do it. What we're saying is that that gap is a little bit further for something that we would totally fund, that you have to go out there on your own and use a credentialing assistance, probably take some courses to bring you closer to that knowledge base where you can actually, successfully pursue that credential and pass it. So what we're saying is you could pursue it, but that's something that based on our analysis that we're not going to pay for 100% because it's not close enough related to our MOS, if that makes sense.
I actually helped you with that.
You did.
I did do work. I did do a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Did a little bit, just not too much.
No.
We went to the taco truck a few times, and I did a little bit. Yeah, that was. Thanks for saying that's it. Thanks. I appreciate that. Right. Yeah. So all right. So let's go, and we can say so. Can a soldier we just got a perfect question. I got a perfect follow-on question for this. So, Ms. Sweeney, can a soldier pursue a credential outside of their MOS in the COOL website?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, and I guess I want to add some clarifying information as well. But yeah, absolutely. So credentialing assistance, so a little bit about, credentialing assistance. A SODR does not have to be, the credential does not have to be aligned to a SODR's MOS. So on the IDC side, yes. On the CA side, no. You could pursue anything within Army COOL that can be found in Army COOL. So again, there's 1,500 plus. If that's something you want to do, as long as you meet the eligibility criteria that's found in Army COOL or with that credentialing agency, you can absolutely pursue it. We have a bunch of vendors that offer the training. So again, CA can fund the training, the books, materials, the fees, the exam, the recertification. So that's a big one for those that are doing Shrm, right? So at a certain time, you're going to need to be recertified. You can always use credentialing assistance to fund that recertification as well. But yeah, the first place I would send anybody for, credentials would be Army COOL. And then once you're ready to move forward with submitting your credentialing assistance request, you would do that through Army Ignited.
That makes perfect sense. So, and actually, we just got a comment after that. You just broke it down. From Izzy Herrera. Izzy, it is not MOS specific. The IDCs, the institutionally delivered credentials, those are MOS specific. But the ones through CA, the ones that you can go onto the COOL website and you apply through and using your credential assistance, those you can do. I'm a 79 Sierra. If I want to go get a diving credential, I can do it. If I want to be a skydiver, I can do it. I ain't gonna do it though, because I ain't crazy. But if I wanted to, I could. If I want to become a chef, I can do it, right? But I'm not going to. I'm good, man. But yes, they're not MOS specific.
Yeah.
All right. But there's lots of MOSs on it. If you go on the COOL website, you can click on any MOS. And there's crazy pictures on there. Like you'll be seeing some weird stuff on there. I actually submitted pictures like of Ruben Garcia to be our MOS's one, but like he was in the only pictures we had of him was in BDUs and when he was a lot skinnier, so it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work. So like yeah, I'm gonna get yelled at on the internet again for being a bully when I'm not a bully.
You're gonna get yelled at.
Yeah, I'm gonna get yelled at. It's all right though. But we great information, guys, and we got a lot of comments. We got a question right here from Sergeant First Class Sergeant Adam Harvey. Is it worth getting the Shrm-Scp if you already have the Shrm-Cp? Honestly, that's a personal decision, man. That's going to be something that you have to decide. If you want to go and pursue it, it's like if you have a master's degree and you want to go get a second master's degree. That's something that you have to decide. Yeah. It all depends.
Yeah, I would tell you that based on where you are in your career, in uniform, it does not really matter as much. Outside of uniform, it depends on your job preference. As you see, when you're job searching, certain jobs will have preferences like, hey, prefer Shrm-Cp. If you search for higher level positions or executive positions, they'll say prefer Shrm-Scp. So it really depends on what career path you plan on taking using that credential. And then, what level do you want to think you are? Are you want to be at the senior level, or do you think you're at a kind of a general level? That's going to depend on whether you take the CP or the SCP. But like Ms. Sweeney said, having is one thing, but you have to stay current and recertify on those every 3 years. So you have to be continually doing something within that credentialing field to stay current on it.
Hey, Ruben just texted me to tell me he's living his best life, and I told him I love him. I love you, Ruben. If I didn't love you, Ruben, I wouldn't talk. I wouldn't joke with you. I love you, Ruben. He read my message too. He's gonna. Oh man, Woody, give him a hug tomorrow for me.
If he shows up to work, I don't know.
There's a good chance. Yeah.
We try to keep COVID outside the office.
Hey, so we have a question here. I want you to answer this, Ms. Sweeney, because this is actually a great question. Before I get into, I let Eric and Woody get into theirs. It's from McLaren and Danielle. Is it an approval process? Asking because I'm a 91 mic, but want to do Shrm-Cp. Can you explain the approval process?
Okay, so as far as submitting a CA request for something like Shrm-Cp, for one, you would go into, if you already know that that's exactly what you want to do, you go into Army Ignited, and then you start by adding a credential. And then once you add that credential, then the next thing after you select that credential of Shrm-Cp, you will have to find a vendor that offers the training for that or the exam. But, it's totally up to you whether you think you're ready to take the exam or you want to take training. Your choice. When you get to the credentialing assistance parts, that's when you'll select your vendor. Then you'll have to submit, or you'll have to answer a lot of questions, one being the start and end date, right? So every CA request has to be requested 30 business days from the start date, right? So if your course is going to start tomorrow, it's not going to happen, right? You have to give us 30 business days. Business days meaning no holidays, no weekends, right? So 30 business days is technically like 45 days, right? You submit your CA request, you select an end date when you think you're going to be completed with that course, right? SOTRs have up to one calendar year from the start date to complete that actual request. So I always recommend that if you think you can do something like, or somebody that asks for an exam, they say, oh, I'm going to be done in a day. I'd probably recommend pushing it out just a little bit to give yourself some time to do any studying, that kind of stuff. But once you actually do that and you've gotten a quote from whoever the vendor is, right? You got to contact the vendor, you get a specified quote for that, that request, upload it and submit it. From that time, we have until 30 business days to process and pay for that specific CA request that you've submitted. So that's basically the time frame. Within 45 days, if you're eligible, you meet all the criteria, it'll be within 45 days.
I will tell y'all this. Y'all are doing the Shrm-Cp. Eric, you took in your test already, right?
Correct.
What are you taking yours?
Nope. I'm probably going to be taking it this upcoming, this next summer cycle, spring cycle.
I'll tell y'all, hey, this is probably that test. That ain't no punk. That test scared the hell out of me. That was the most scared I've ever been in my life. Like for a test, like you gotta put your bag. Like first of all, I felt like I was going to visit a relative in prison because you gotta put all your stuff in a plastic bag, and then you take the test. It's long as hell, and then
4 hours. 4
hours, and then when you finish the test, they make you take the survey, and then you go and you finish the survey, and then you have to wait for them to tell you if you passed the test. Mm-hmm. And that is like the scariest piece of paper they hand you ever. I had just told myself like, all right, cool, I failed. Like at least I ain't got to pay for this. And then I had conditioned myself already. Like, all right, I failed. Like, just give me my phone back. Like I just want to give my phone in my wallet. Did they take your wallet away, Eric?
Everything.
Yeah,
everything.
Like it took. Everything. Like I really felt like I was going to visit my uncle in prison.
They limit the opportunity for you to try to cheat. That's why you can't have no electronic devices, no pieces. They'll give you a piece of scratch paper. But let me say this. I see a couple questions that people ask in the comments about how tough is it. Of course, it's tough because earning any credential shows that you are a subject matter expert in that particular field. So it's tough. However, based on us doing these different cohorts just for the Shrm-Cp, for example, if you put the study time in, your chances of success and passing are going to be extremely high. Most people that don't pass, they don't put the time in. They might have the books, they might have the online system, and they'll keep pushing it off, and then test time is upon you. And now you panic mode, you try to jam everything in. the Shrm-Cp and other credentials are things where you cannot jam study. You have to, as soon as you get enrolled, you have to start studying from day one all the way through the program until it's test time. And even then, you're still not going to feel comfortable. But I can guarantee you, all of your hard work and study are going to kick in. And you will pass. You'll pass. Trust me. And you have a lot of experts out here in the field. And I see some people on the chat that have taken at least the Shrm-Cp that can help you navigate through some of the scenarios and some of their experiences, how to study and how to prepare for the test as well. So there's people who've done this. You don't have to. You're not in this alone.
Aaron Rodriguez asks, "What MOS this for?" Credentials for any MOS, right? But these questions, the Shrm-Cp question that they're asking, that's mostly for human resources. But any MOS can take it. But credentials are for any MOS. For example, I pushed really hard when I was proponent to get us the professional career coach credential, and because I use that because I looked into a lot of things from when I get out the Army. When I get out the Army, I looked into the civilian sector and what I like to do, and that professional career coach credential, that thing is no joke. And then if you keep adding on to it, that's not only big time money, but it can help you with coping and a lot of things that we do as civilian as military leaders. It can help you out, and what I want to do in the future is help me out. And I passed that. I was happy to pass that test. I was happy to take that test. That Shrm-Cp, I was like, man, I'm good with failing this one, right? But it's good. Let's ask a couple questions. Then we're gonna get to. I'm gonna open it up to Woody and Eric what they want to talk about. Adam Harvey helps you if you have a business related college degree. Yes, it does. It also helps you with a couple of things. It's all about relating it to relating your military and the civilian. If you can learn how to use the civilian terminology and relate it to your military terminology, it's not bad. But it's just that we're so indoctrinated, especially if you've been in a long time. Mm-hmm. Just join. What is Shrm-Cp? Shrm-Cp is a credential, Aaron. It's a credential. It's a human resource credential that is used in business and in human resource terms. It's one of the credentials that's in the cool website. In case you just joined it, we're talking about credentialing assistance in the cool website. Miss Sweeney runs that, so that's something that you can do. Credentialing assistance. Michelle Ojeda, what did you use to study? There's different things. I used the online resources that we had. The news cycle that you guys had they had the books, right? They had the hard study books. Mm-hmm.
We'll give you, like I said, through CA or through our program, and I'll explain this a little bit as far as what does IDC mean and what does SDC mean. But basically, if you sign up for either or, you're going to get these things up front. You're going to get the framework, what's called our BOC. That's the body of knowledge and competency. That kind of gives you the framework about what is SHRM made up of. SHRM means Society for Human Resource Management Certified Professional. That's what SHRM is. So you're going to get books up front. They're going to give you access to an online learning system up front. For our cohorts, for the CA, you can either use it for the CA. You can pay for a virtual instructor. I know with COVID, they were having instructors. You can go in person. They kind of pause there for a little bit. So they're having instructors online through a different vendor. You can use any vendor that you want to. And also you have a SHRM community of professionals embedded within that community where you can ask questions of real life experiences of how they handle situations. The difference between the SHRM and let me say for like a PHR is the PHR is based on HR, just straight knowledge. It is, what do you know about HR tactics, HR law, HR policies? The Shrm-Cp is a little bit different where it is still HR knowledge, but it's more based HR competencies. So basically we're saying, hey, we want to know what you know, but we want to know how do you apply this in the job? So how do you handle this certain situation using those SHRM competencies? So that's why this is great for any soldier looking at HR, because it tests not just the knowledge of what you have, it tests your behaviors of how do you handle this situation as a leader, as an HR manager, as an HR supervisor, as an HR coordinator, so that those are kind of different scenarios that you'll get tested on. And a lot of you will be able to draw from your military experience of things you've done to answer a lot of those questions.
All right. So without further ado, I am going to let Eric and Woody talk about what they really wanted to talk about, which is their new pilot program that they have. So I'll let Eric talk about it. Go ahead, Eric. You start first.
Great. So First of all, thank you for everybody for joining again. And thank you. I see some of the former soldiers that we have who have been through our pilot, been very successful. I see Sergeant Block on here. I thought I saw a couple other personnel. So right now we are in year 3 of our cohort for the Shrm-Cp. Based on our 3-year, going into the 3rd year, we have about a 61 to 62% pass rate for those personnel who have tested. And that's actually really good. That's close to the industry standards of Shrm. So if anybody tells you that, hey, Shrm is not the same in the civilian world as the military, that's not really true. So that tells you that our soldiers are able to go out there with just based on their military experience and take this test and actually do equally or better than people that have been in the HR profession for about 10 years. So that tells you, that should give you a vote of confidence that you can pursue this test for credential. So let me explain the IDC and the SDC to kind of break it down for you. They're both the same thing. The only thing difference is how we fund it. So the IDC is institutionally delivered credentials. What that means is Army University has allotted us a certain amount of money per year that we will pay for all of things up front for soldiers to go through this credentialing program. This year coming up, I think we got about $55,000 for our CMS 79. And that was enough to kind of have about 55 soldiers that are able to go through what we're going to pay for, like I said, the books, the learning system, the virtual instruction, and the test all up front. Since that's a limited amount of money, and as I can see in the comments, I see a lot of people want to pursue this. We're encourage you, if you don't get selected for our cohort, don't wait on us. Go out there, like Ms. Sweeney said, to Army Ignited, and you can use your CA funds if you still have remaining funds, and you can apply for the same things. And we're going to give you all the same things that these 55 personnel will get. You're going to get books, access to the learning system, a virtual instructor, and the exam up front. So the only thing difference is you're going to use your credentialing assistants to complete that process. So you're not going to miss a step as far as the type of learning that you're getting. So that is called the SDC, and that is self-directed credentials. So one is IDC, institutionally delivered, where we pay for it. One is SDC, where anybody can take it, and the Army is going to pay for it on their dime. So those are the two different credentials. So qualifying for the Shrm-Cp, I'll give you the basics. You basically have to have at least 4 years in HR and with some type of degree. Most personnel in our MOS that are 79 Romeo, 79 Sierra, 79 Tango, or Victor, if you've been in here longer than a year or two, you're going to qualify and meet those credentials. What I strongly advise, if somebody is currently pursuing a degree, you can do both at the same time. Personally, knowing how tough this program is, it takes a lot of dedication and time. I would prefer that you finish one track before you start another one, so you don't put yourself in a situation where you are overtaxed. Can you do it? Absolutely. We had people that were pursuing their degree and they got the Shrm-Cp credential, but those people were very, very strong at multitasking, and they're able to do it. So can you do it while you are going to school? Yes. Would I advise it? It depends on you as a person. Anything you want to add on that?
Ditto. No. So also I know you said that we have 55 slots ish right around there. And we have 2 MOSs that are being represented here, but that's for the entire CMF. So we actually have 2 other MOSs. We have 4 total that are splitting these slots, which makes it even smaller amount. And we try to do a fair share ratio. I know you career counselors out there understand that, since the 79 Romeos have the biggest pool of soldiers, they get the biggest pool of these slots, and it trickles down to us. I think we get one, maybe a half a slot or something like that. A 79 series, I'm not sure.
Do we really count Tangos and Victors?
They count. They're
bigger than us, man. Yeah, they're bigger than us. And also, just to touch on what somebody had said earlier.
I'm kidding, by the way.
Somebody was asking earlier about this being MOS specific. What Eric was talking about with the IDC, with the institutional delivered credentials, those are MOS specific because they have to be funded specifically for your MOS. Each MOS has their own IDCs. Hopefully, I mean, we didn't have one until a couple years ago when the legendary Master Sergeant Tim Donahue helped start that for 79 Sierras and the entire CMS.
I ain't do nothing. I slept on the trip all the way up to Army University and slept on the way back.
But no, if you really are interested in doing the Shrm-Cp, and you don't get selected, like Master Sergeant Conway said, if you don't get selected for our cohort, go out and do it on your own, and do it with CA funds, and send Ms. Sweeney an email. I mean, I'm sure she'll be happy to have her inbox flooded after the show. You know.
Yeah, hopefully so.
I'm sure she's on Global somewhere, and you'll figure that out. But yeah, if you're gonna pursue it, you got to put the time in. Everybody that I've heard talk about it it's not a secret. The more time you put in, the better you're gonna do. So
got to put that work in.
Yeah. The other thing, you know, we're talking about funding, why this is important. The more soldiers that pursue this, especially for our MOSs, this is how we get more funding to open it up for we can pay for more. Typically, whatever the Army kind of starts you at, you can't really increase more than, I want to say, like 5% each year. So we kind of started around 50,000 or 45,000. We kind of gradually increased. But what they're doing is, you know, every year, all these personnel are asking for money for credentials, and they're not being utilized. So that's money that the Army has to come back and recoup and say, hey, look, we gave you $10 million for credentialing. You only used $1 million. So there's $9 million that have been wasted. And you know what happens in the Army, if you don't use something, they try to cut your program every year. They try to take those funds and renavigate them elsewhere. So what we want to do, and what Ms. Sweeney's trying to do with her CA funding, we want to keep this program strong and growing. We want the Army to pump all the money they have into this. But to do that, we need soldiers to take advantage of these opportunities and pursue it. You know, is it tough? Absolutely. Is it worth it? Absolutely. I'll tell you 1,000 times over that you will not regret when you earn it. Not just for your military, like I said, military experience, but actually when you take this uniform off, because everybody will one day, you're going to really boost yourself as far as career performance or your competition out there in the what we call the civilian world.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the easiest example is that CA was at $4,500 last year, and now it's at $4K. So people aren't taking advantage of it. So that's already right there. That's money out your pocket. It's just everybody complains about not having that until they don't use it, and then when they don't use it and the Army takes it away, they get mad.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate y'all. Y'all did a great job pushing the program. If y'all didn't see this, if y'all joining in late, we had the subject matter experts. I see that, Miss Sweeney. Just don't. We ain't gonna say that though, but I see it. We had the subject matter experts on, but you can always rewatch it, right? We like to end everything. With a couple of shout outs. So we're gonna go around the horn. Master Conway, who would you like to shout out?
Yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out. I just want to answer one more question because I know we have civilians on here as well, and I saw a question about dependents. So civilians can pursue credentials, but it will not be through this program. If the organization is willing to pay for your credential, like my boss, Mr. Thackeray, our organization was able to fund his tests, and he was able to go apply and use that payment and pursue his credential. So anybody can pursue the credentials. It's just a matter of who's going to pay for it and what type of funding stream. So if you're looking at dependents that want to pursue it, civilians that work in section shops that want to pursue it, you can still pursue it. It just won't go through these funding streams. So I just want to kind of put that out there for our counterparts that are on the line. And thank you for joining us. So for my shout out, I want to say this. We are on the new mission and model for our 79 Romeos. I know it's going to be tough. As we call it individual mission, but I know it's labeled under something different. All I want to say is, hey, continue to work hard out there. You have a lot of peers and mentors you can reach back to for aid. Don't give up. Don't let it be too tough. Don't let it burden you and your families when you take it. Don't take it home with you at nighttime. And you know what? Tomorrow, the mission will still be there. Don't take all of that stress on yourself. Make sure you reach out to somebody. I'll always be here on my phone or email. You can contact me if you need somebody to talk to. But I'm just telling you that, hey, we got complete confidence in you making the mission. So good luck and good job to all those NCOs out there striving to complete the mission. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric. All right, Woody, your time to shine.
All right. So first and foremost, I would like to shout out to Lexi for making sure that I've always eaten. I seen that comment earlier. I can't comment back. But yes, I did eat. Thank you very much. That's on Conway, even though he's gone. He's going to be leaving us soon. He's retiring. And I just wanted to give a shout out to him and tell him that he's very much appreciated for everything that he's done to help me along. And the retention department up at the Recruiting Retention College is killing it right now. If you didn't know, we have the NTO of the quarter, we have the instructor of the quarter. We're killing it. All right, so we're doing a great job. Even though we're the little R, the RRC, we're trying to become the big R. So watch out.
We're always the big R. Don't lie. Yeah. Miss Sweeney trying to leave early too. Look at that. Miss Sweeney trying to leave all early. All right, Miss Sweeney, it's your time to shine.
Oh, well, okay. Before I do my shout outs, I do want to put out some clarifying or some information. I didn't say or tell you who all was eligible, but it's all soldiers of all compos, as well as officers, warrant officers. Even if you've had, you've gotten your master's degree, you think you can't use tuition assistance anymore, credentialing assistance you still can use. So hopefully you all will join and check that out and, try to pursue some, anything, right? Certified personal trainer, just, anything that's in there. Do something.
There's so many good ones in there.
Absolutely. And all of that goes on your resume, even if you're, of course this is a transition program, but, it helps you on the outside as well. These are industry recognized credentials. So I wanted to put that out. And then I do want to give a shout out to my team who is out there in Access University that is just busting their butts trying to get all these credentialing assistance requests through. And lastly, I want to say thank you to you all, because USAREC, you all are just amazing. And everything that you do, you are hardworking individuals. And Sergeant Conway, Sergeant Donahue, you guys are awesome. Always like keeping me on my toes and supporting us in every way, shape, or form. So thank you. My shout out goes to you all. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Miss Sweeney. Appreciate it. All right, y'all. So I'm here by myself tonight. I got shout out to Sergeant Ford and Sergeant Block. They in the background help me with the comments. But I want to give y'all a heads up. I'm not really gonna be a part of the team too much in the near future. I'll be here for live streams here and there, but I got a little bit of personal stuff. So I just been approved to go through with giving my cousin my kidney. So I'm gonna be doing kidney transplant. So I have my next appointment in November, and if everything goes as it should go, I should be going up to Boston back and forth for a few more appointments and be doing that. So the rest of the team, Shantae, AJ, Matt, Kendra, Sam, everybody, they gonna hold it down. They got it. Plus, y'all not gonna miss me no way. I don't do nothing but get in trouble anyways. So hey, appreciate y'all. Y'all got this, and there's gonna be great information, great live streams, and they're gonna do it, man. So I appreciate y'all. Go get some credentials, get better, do better things, and don't talk about gambling. And my shout out is to Ruben, because I know his ass is gonna go to work tomorrow and be like, hey, the Tim said that I was fat and I only want to go to lunch. Yeah. But hey, shout out to everybody, man. Appreciate y'all. And I'm out. And I'll talk to y'all later once I figure out how to play the ending video. Yeah, I'll be good. All right, because they left me here by myself, so I don't know how to do this thing. All right, I'm out.